this video, we're going to be taking a look at Darth Vader, based upon his appearance from A New Hope for the TVC line. This was figure number 93, so towards the end of the original run of the line. And I know we've gotten a lot of Darth Vader figures over the years, and many of them are very similar, but this one's actually kind of unique. And I don't think we've ever seen this sculpt on any other Vader figure before. Is it the best Vader? I don't think so. I have heard a lot of people suggest that it is their favorite Vader, and I've heard a lot of people say it's probably one of the more accurate looking ones, but I'm not too sure about it. The more I look at it, it's kind of like, maybe. And the sample you're looking at here is not 100% accurate, and the one inaccuracy about this one is that it's a Tungori action figure, and the cape that included, or was included with this, had the chain for his cape, which you can see right there, while the official Hasbro release did not have that. Of course, this is an official Hasbro action figure, but for whatever reason, when Tungori was selling this, it just didn't have the appropriate cape, which is not really that big of a deal. Other than that, same exact action figure, and as far as I could tell, everything is authentic about it compared to the regular one that we would see in retail. So at this point in TVC, I think a lot of people were getting sick of Darth Vader. I do recall seeing videos at the time when they were taking a look at like the card back, for example, and seeing that we're getting another Darth Vader. A lot of people were like, "Oh, another Darth Vader." At this point, this is probably like what, the second, or no, not the second, but maybe the third or fourth Vader we got in TVC alone at this point, and we were only about 90 figures in, so a lot of people are getting Darth Vader fatigue. But still, this is a pretty good Darth Vader. It had a lot of articulation at the time that we didn't really see yet, mainly hinged hips, which, you know, at the time was kind of a big deal. Not so much now, but for a period of time, this was the most articulated Darth Vader that we've gotten. And overall, it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty basic. There's really not a whole lot I can say about it. But still, let's just take a closer look at this guy, see what he's all about. So for the helmet sculpt there, it's pretty good. At certain angles, I think it looks better than others. When you look at it straight on, something about it kind of looks off to me. It doesn't look exactly like a New Hope Vader. I think this Dark Times one did a better job with that. So you can see this one kind of looks a little skinny. And the way you can tell it's a New Hope Vader is with the lenses there. They kind of have that reddish tint to them. But overall, it's pretty good. You can tell it's Vader, and it's not way off or anything like that. It's just a little bit more on the skinny side, I think. The mask could be a little bit wider, and the dome could be a little bit bigger. The paint's pretty good overall. It doesn't have so much of a glossy finish as more of a matte look, I would say. For his torso here, a little bit different than most of the Vaders. Of course, Vader's robes were over his armor in A New Hope, and Hasbro did acknowledge that here. It looks pretty good. His plastic robes, though, instead of the soft goods, which I think is better anyway, because if you twist his waist, for example, you don't have to worry about that ripping the robes. Unlike with like this guy, for example, where if you do twist his waist, it's going to rip that. The cod piece there, that's probably a lot bigger compared to most, and I think Hasbro did that mostly to accommodate the hinged hips. And his skirt here, a little bit shorter compared to a lot of the other Vader ones. But it's not too bad. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot of other uniqueness about this Vader. Yes, it's a new sculpt, but, you know, it's Vader. There's only so many ways you can really do him. One kind of unique thing about him is his right hand here is kind of in a choking pose, and I think it was meant to be kind of scene specific with where he's choking out Admiral Monty at the Death Star briefing room. And he has the painted control panels there on his belt and on his chest. Pretty good. For articulation, he does have a swivel neck, so I guess you can pop his head off, no problem, if you wanted to. Suppose I could get the appropriate cape and put it on. He does have hinged shoulders, which are really articulated. As you can see, that can go almost all the way complete 180, which is really good. He does have the hinge at the elbow and then the swivel forearms, swivel waist, and the hinged hips, which have really good range of motion as well. Then the hinged knees and hinged ankles. So really good articulation for this Vader. It's pretty innovative at the time. I do recall seeing this in stores at the time, but a few of the samples I saw actually, and they stayed at retail for a long time because of it. He had a squished in helmet, which was unfortunate. I only saw this at stores a couple times. And like I said, I got this one through Tungori, and I think it was around 2018 or so is when I got this, 17 or 18. Back around 2011 and 12 when this came out, it wasn't the hardest to get a hold of. In terms of accessories, nothing unique in this area at all. Just a standard Darth Vader lightsaber, no unignited hilt or anything of that nature. Just the one lightsaber here, and it's the same exact one that we've gotten time and time again. But he does hold it well in his hand. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can tell you about this Vader. I guess before we wrap it up, I'll bring out this new Moff Gigeroid here. I know you can't really get him to hold his neck at all, but just kind of reenact like Vader's trying to choke him out. Maybe kind of like that deleted scene, actually. But this is a fun Vader to pose. I have used him for dioramas every now and then, and he's really good for that. Even without the rocker ankles, you can get him in like the pose I had him at the beginning here. Pretty good. Let's see if I can do this. Kind of like that. So overall, looks pretty good. Would I recommend this Vader for your collection? If you're a big fan of Vader and you really want it, then yes, I would say it's a good Vader to have. Is it an essential one to have for your collection? No. Personally, I would rather have any of the 4 Vaders you see here on the sides before I get this one. But I'm happy to have it for my collection still. Of course, we're allegedly getting a New Hope Vader next year in TVC, and I'm sure that one will be probably the definitive A New Hope Vader, and I'm sure it'll be pretty much similar to this one. I can't really think of too many ways that they'll improve upon it other than the robes over his armor, for example, and maybe some slight paint differences in his helmet. Other than that, pretty much the same Vader. But still, I don't think he's too expensive or too difficult to get a hold of, so if you really want him for your collection and you're a fan of Vader, it's a good one to have. Otherwise, if you're just wanting one Vader for your collection, I think there's plenty of other ones out there I would recommend before getting this one. overall, solid action figure. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be lots more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate all your support. And check out some of the links in the description if you have not done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.